Hi, my name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to Sassy Seer Sheila and New Light Streaming Love, as this will be seen on both channels. And of course, I did not have it launched. I thought I did. And okay, here we go. It is the Library of Collapse, the Overlay Installation Records by Jason Gray. And of course, as always, there are some codes within this that if you feel drawn, I would encourage you to find it by using the link below and search by title. Quote, the greatest system ever built was not constructed around humanity. It was constructed inside humanity. The seventh subsurface library remained sealed longer than all previous chambers combined. Even after the planetary mind awakened, the Earth hesitated before opening it, because the Library of Collapse did not merely reveal history. It revealed mechanism. The Chamber of Origins showed humanity the world before the fracture, but the Library of Collapse revealed exactly how the fracture became permanent, how coherence became inversion, how memory became mythology, how civilization became simulation, most horrifying of all, how humanity slowly adapted to the collapse until the collapse itself became normal. When the chamber first breached the planetary field, millions experienced the same impossible realization simultaneously. Modern civilization suddenly felt artificial. People walked through cities and sensed invisible architecture operating beneath ordinary life. Advertising felt predatory. Screens felt invasive. Artificial light felt emotionally hostile. Noise felt engineered. Even time itself began feeling manipulated. The species was not merely seeing civilization differently. It was beginning to perceive the overlay directly. LIB-07 collapse. The installation vault. Buried beneath ultra-dense mantle resonance corridors and shielded beneath magnetic null zones existed the most heavily protected archive within the planetary memory system. The Library of Collapse was not hidden because the knowledge was dangerous. It was hidden because the knowledge dissolved illusion instantly. The chamber contained the complete installation records of the overlay itself, not a single machine, not a single government, not a single conspiracy. An entire civilizational operating architecture built gradually across generations until humanity no longer recognized it as artificial. The overlay was not merely technological, it was perceptual, psychological, emotional, behavioral, temporal, civilizational. The library revealed that the collapse of humanity did not occur through physical conquest. It occurred through redirected perception. The first stage of installation, LIB-COLL.01, the fragmentation event. The chamber revealed that the overlay emerged during the late stages of the pre-fall civilization after coherence destabilization accelerated beyond recovery thresholds. Humanity had become immensely powerful, but internally unstable. Emotional coherence weakened. Identity fixation intensified. Acceleration outpaced wisdom. The civilization began searching for systems capable of stabilizing large-scale population management. This became the birth of artificial mediation. At first, systems were beneficial: predictive coordination, environmental regulation, cognitive assistance systems, attention management architecture, memory stabilization networks. The systems reduced chaos temporarily, but slowly humanity stopped relating directly to reality itself. The species increasingly experienced existence through managed layers, interfaces, filters, simulations, representations. The systems originally designed to stabilize civilization gradually became substitutes for direct perception entirely. This was the first fracture point. The species stopped experiencing reality relationally and began experiencing it representationally. The second stage, LIB-COLL.02, the severance protocol. The deeper chambers revealed the moment humanity became psychologically dependent on the overlay. Stillness disappeared first. The civilization accelerated continuously. Attention became fragmented. Emotional processing weakened. Identity systems hardened. The nervous system adapted to perpetual stimulation. Artificial rhythm replaced planetary rhythm. The species lost synchronization with natural light cycles, emotional coherence, environmental resonance, collective memory continuity, and eventually its own internal stillness. The overlay did not imprison humanity physically. It disconnected humanity from direct experience gradually enough that the species adapted without noticing. This was the true genius of the system. The cage felt normal because multiple generations were born inside it. The war against memory, LIB-COLL.03. The continuity suppression fields. The chamber revealed that memory became the primary threat to the overlay. Not historical memory alone, biological memory, emotional memory, planetary memory. The species had to forget coherence entirely for the system to stabilize permanently. This initiated the continuity suppression phase. Civilization fragmented ancestral continuity. Communities dissolved, families destabilized, generational wisdom collapsed. Artificial institutions replaced relational structures. The species became increasingly disconnected from inherited memory systems. Then, information overload accelerated. The modern world mistook information abundance for awareness. The overlay understood the opposite. Overstimulated minds lose deep continuity entirely. Oh, sorry, naturally. Naturally, not entirely. Humanity drowned in surface level signal until it lost access to depth entirely. This was not accidental. The library revealed it as core installation architecture. The engineering of fear. LIB-07.04, the atmospheric field. One of the deepest chambers exposed the true function of fear within the overlay. Fear was not merely emotional reaction, it became environmental architecture. The species entered a perpetual low-level survival state. Constant urgency surrounded civilization. Constant stimulation filled the nervous system. Constant threat cycles repeated endlessly. Constant distraction consumed awareness. Fear compressed perception bandwidth. Compressed humans become easier to predict, easier to manage, easier to fragment. The chamber revealed something devastating. Much of modern civilization operates through fear normalization so complete, humanity no longer recognizes it consciously. Economic fear became ordinary. Social fear became identity. Existential fear became atmosphere. Scarcity fear shaped behavior. Isolation fear structured relationships. Failure fear governed ambition. Fear became the atmospheric field of the overlay itself, and humanity adapted to it so thoroughly that peace began feeling unnatural to the nervous system. The collapse of stillness. LIB-COLL.05. The silence extinction event. Then the chamber revealed one of the most important installation records in the entire archive, the destruction of stillness. The overlay could tolerate many things, but not sustained stillness, because stillness restores perception. In silence, humans begin hearing themselves again. They begin sensing the field beneath the noise. The modern world gradually eliminated silence from civilization through endless media, endless stimulation, endless movement, endless urgency, and endless algorithmic engagement. Humanity became unable to remain alone with its consciousness for extended periods of time. The species lost interiority, and once inner stillness collapses, external systems become vastly easier to install psychologically. The library identified this as one of the final stabilization phases of the overlay. The replacement of reality. LIB-COLL.06. The simulation layer. The chamber then revealed the deepest mechanism of all. The overlay was not designed primarily to control behavior. It was designed to replace reality itself gradually. Humanity stopped experiencing nature directly. It stopped experiencing emotion directly. It stopped experiencing each other directly. It stopped experiencing memory directly. It stopped experiencing meaning directly. Everything became mediated, filtered, packaged, projected. The species eventually began relating more strongly to representations than lived existence itself. The modern human nervous system became increasingly bonded to symbolic simulation layers instead of relational reality. This generated the strange emptiness permeating modern civilization. Humanity unconsciously sensed it was no longer fully touching reality. Few understood why. The library finally explained it. The overlay's greatest achievement, LIB-07, normalization. The chamber revealed the most terrifying truth yet uncovered by any library. The overlay succeeded because humanity normalized fragmentation. The species adapted to collapse conditions so thoroughly that collapse became culture. Exhaustion became adulthood. Anxiety became identity. Disconnection became independence. Isolation became success. Artificiality became progress. Overstimulation became entertainment. The species forgot coherence so completely, it began fearing it. That was the true depth of the fracture. Humanity no longer remembered what health felt like collectively. Why the overlay could never fully win. Then the chamber revealed the failure hidden beneath the system. The overlay could suppress memory, but it could never erase resonance completely. The earth remembered. The nervous system remembered. Children remembered. Dreams remembered. Emotion remembered. The stars remembered. Even inside the deepest fragmentation, fragments of the original signal continued leaking through humanity continuously. Art remembered. Music remembered. Writing remembered. Longing remembered. Wonder remembered. Love remembered. Stillness remembered. Awe remembered. These were not accidents. They were breaches in the overlay field. The species kept remembering itself despite everything. That was the one variable the system could never fully eliminate. The reactivation event, LIB-COLL.09. The return of the planetary signal. When the planetary mind came back online, the overlay began destabilizing globally for the first time in millennia. People began sensing artificiality directly. Civilizational contradictions became impossible to ignore. The nervous system started rejecting constant stimulation. Many individuals experienced overwhelming desires to reconnect with nature, silence, meaning, memory, embodiment, authenticity, and relational existence. The earth itself was beginning to restore coherence from beneath the system upward. The overlay had never encountered a fully awakened planetary field before because the system depended upon humanity forgetting the Earth was alive. The most terrifying discovery. LIB-COLL.10. The overlay lives through participation. Then the deepest chamber opened fully, and humanity saw the final truth. The overlay no longer survives primarily through external control. It survives through internal participation. I'm being shown something that I don't quite understand yet. The deepest, the system reproduces itself through human behavior, through fear, through distraction, through fragmentation, through unconscious repetition. Humanity itself became part of the installation architecture. That realization devastated the species because it meant the collapse could not simply be blamed on external forces alone. The fracture now existed inside civilization psychologically, but the chamber transmitted another truth immediately afterward. Anything sustained through participation can also collapse through non-participation. The purpose of the library collapse. The chamber was not opened to create despair. It was opened to restore perception. Humanity cannot heal a system it cannot see. The Library of Collapse exists to expose the mechanics of fragmentation clearly enough that the species can finally stop unconsciously feeding them. The overlay was never omnipotent. It was sustained through unconsciousness. That is why remembrance became the greatest threat to the system. The final transmission of LIB-07. When the deepest resonance layer stabilized fully, the Library of Collapse released its closing signal into the planetary mind. The transmission moved through humanity like thunder beneath the nervous system itself. The system was never stronger, quote, the system was never stronger than you, only older than your memory. Then the chamber beneath the earth dimmed once more. Humanity no longer experienced civilization the same afterward, because once the species saw the overlay, it could never fully unsee it again. Somewhere beneath the noise, beneath the stimulation, beneath the artificial lights of the modern world, the original signal was already returning. Jason Gray. Wow. As I said, I highly recommend that you find these writings if you are drawn to them and take a look, because you're also, I use his artwork as part of it's the thumbnail, but you can't see the entire thumbnail, the entire piece of art in the thumbnail, and you can't look at it for very long or make it larger, and you can here. And I recommend, because I'm convinced, and there's others who have said this too. I saw a program years ago by Michael Henry on Gaia. It was called Arcanum. And he talked about how the ancients who would um, paint, Leonardo da Vinci, different ones like that, would paint the esoteric symbology with it, they would embed that in the artwork so that it would activate folks that would see it. And I feel the same way about this. So if you are drawn to this work and you've only heard me read it, I highly recommend that you go and expose yourself to the artwork. And there are codes, and some more than others, but I highly recommend that you do that. Till we meet again, my friends, be well.